Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to evaluate a property, whether you're a buyer, a seller, agent, appraiser, what have you, in order to actually get the estimate of a home if you're putting an offer down or if you're looking to sell it. This is part of a series of understanding the tools available out there, including Zillow Comps, Realtor, and other APIs to determine what the property should be valued at. My name is Ariel Herrera with the AnalyticsAriel channel, where we bridge the gap between real estate and technology. In this video, it's going to be super easy walking you through this tool, so please watch from beginning to end. I'm also going to do a little bit of a comparison against Zillow's tool as well, since we used it in the last video. And if you haven't watched that, please check it out. As well, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do and like our content so we can put more of this out there for you. All right, let's get started. So in the last video, we were looking at a sample property, 728 June Lake Lane in Brandon, Florida, that sold in 2018, and we're using an example as if we're looking to purchase this property and what this property is worth today. Now, for those of you not familiar with Brandon, Florida, it is one of the suburbs in the Tampa Bay area, which is now where I reside. So it's a perfect example for us to walk through as it's a very hot market today. Now, what we looked at over in the last video was at the Zillow pricing tool. So we saw that Zillow had a Zestimate, so that's their way of evaluating properties using an algorithm, that this house was worth $382,000 today, which is a big jump from when it sold about 2 to 3 years ago. Now, we used Zillow's pricing tool where we put in the address, and then we were able to look at a series of properties that Zillow deemed as comparables based on the condition of the homes, the size, the location, etc. We went through these properties and we got a better feel or understanding how to work with this tool if we wanted to evaluate properties, and it was pretty neat doing it for the first time. However, I have looked at Realtor's comparables before, and I do think it's a little bit more sophisticated. So from what we see, Zillow and Realtor have their estimate values. So Realtor has an estimate value here of $332,000 for this property, which is a $50,000 swing between this estimate. So this is why it is important to utilize these estimates that these providers put out there, but not to solely use it, because there's a lot of contextual things with properties, and because they're so localized that there's things you may not see from an algorithm's perspective. Let's see, how can we actually look at similar properties that have sold recently that are similar to the property that we're looking at, 728 June Lake Lane, say if we were to put an offer on it. So what's really neat about Realtor is that it has a lot of information. You could dive into the housing market itself within the Brandon area. You can look at, of course, the description of what the property overview was when it sold in 2018, the home valuation. We could not only see what the valuation for was prior to 2021, but also forecasting too. Now this is the real meat down here, is homes around June Lake Lane. So when we want to look at properties that have recently sold around this area, this is the meat of what we're looking at. We could see a recent property, one less bedroom than the current one, sold for, or is for sale for $329,000, which again, we talked about properties that are for sale but not sold. We can't use that in our comparables. But we could see it, this has only been on the market for 14 days. And now we go down more to neighborhood. We could see what the median listing price is. Again, we can't use this information because this is median listing price for properties that have more bedrooms or less bedrooms, and it's not an exact fit. But then we go down to recently sold homes near 728 June Lake Lane, and we can start to get a little bit better of an idea of what's recently sold. Again, these aren't great comparables because they're different sizes than the property we're looking at. We can get a pretty good view here, nearby home values of homes that have sold. So a couple within June Lake Lane, and their estimates, the number of bedrooms, baths, square footage, and lot size, which these look to be pretty similar. But this isn't that great of a view, right? This is just like a spreadsheet, and as of right now, Zillow's looks to be a nicer user interface and better at comparing the properties versus the one that you're looking at, the original property versus the one you're looking at. So what is really cool about Realtor is that this is the public view, but you could actually look at the owner's view. And you don't have to have any type of requirement to just select this. So that I really like and hope that doesn't change. So for the owner's view, it does pull in information from different valuation providers, from Collateral Analytics, CoreLogic, and Quantarium. I do not know details behind each of these valuation providers, but I like that it's pulling for multiple, and it's getting a median estimated home value there. So we could see that chart. And then the part down here, compare your home. So I really like this part because we can actually see similar homes that have sold, and get information on them. So I believe this is for has sold. Yeah, days on market. Hopefully they're not actually for sale. Let me just double check. And pending for sale. Okay, so that is a tidbit I did not know. So these actually have not sold. These are what they're selling for. But at the very least, this could give you a roadway to see what it's currently going for. But now if we tab over to recently sold, which is what we want, we could see properties that sold in the area, and get detail all in one screenshot. So again, what differs here from the Zillow part is if we go to Zillow, we don't get this all in one spreadsheet, so it's a little bit hard to compare one by one, yet here it's just one holistic view of everything. So we can quickly get the average price of the homes, price per square foot, median days on market, and we can, looks like we could sort by a lot of different features here. We could sort by miles away. So literally next to this house, 727 June Lake Lane, was sold in, oh wow, so sold within this week. And it sold for $370,000. So let's actually take a deeper look at this property. 727. So we did do a whole run through of our property that we're looking at, the 728, which I'll just pull it up. Again, not going to go through it in detail, but some things we did note was that for our property that we're looking to evaluate, the kitchen is older. We're not sure actually if this has been resurfaced or not, so that's something to keep in mind for the pool. And we can see the bedrooms are a good size, however the bathrooms also are a little bit outdated, so things we have to take into account for the condition of the property versus the ones we're looking to compare it against. So this one recently sold, and we could see, all right, the driveway's a little bit banged up there, but has a pool also, so that's similar to the property we're looking at. Looks to have a lot less backyard space though. You can see the bedrooms are a good size, paint looks fresh, bathrooms look a little bit more updated, definitely. The flooring, I want to know if that's new too. Kitchen's definitely updated. So why do I care that the kitchen's updated? We care because if this home sold for $370, and the house that we're looking to purchase and put an offer down, well, it doesn't have the updated kitchen, doesn't have the updated bathrooms. So depending on the area, say if these are each worth, we'll just put an easy number, 10 grand a piece, then the property we're looking to put an offer down on may be worth then $20,000 less, so $350 instead of $370. And what's really useful too is we could just go right into an analysis, and we could see features of pool, granite countertops, other one did not have that. And we see some things for the pool were replaced 2 years ago. So that's another thing that is making this house possibly at a higher valuation than the one we're looking to put an offer down on. As well as crown molding. I actually don't think the other one had crown molding. Let me just double check. Just pop into one of these photos. So the living room definitely does not have crown molding, and just as an FYI, that's when there's, let me actually pull it up over here. So you see that white piece here, up there, just gives like a better finish to the walls. That's crown molding. And jumping back to the property, looks like it does not have crown molding. So those are just like little tidbits that is going to make this property higher. So as of right now, I don't think that we should put any offer close to 370. We would have to really put each of these items down on Excel spreadsheet, which I'm planning to create a template for that. And that would allow us to see, based on each one of these things, the kitchen, the bathroom, the crown molding, when we deduct those out, how much should our property actually be estimated at in comparison to this one? Because this is actually a really great comparison. I mean, it's next door, has the same exact bedrooms, really close to the square footage, and yeah, it's probably gonna be the easiest comparison. So what's really neat too is that we can, again, filter this into other things. We could look at square feet, the number of bedrooms, bath, like we can sort our comparables really easily here. I don't think they have just a straight Excel spreadsheet to output this, but that's okay. So miles away, let's just select the first two. And if we want to do, we can hit this compare button, which I guess just gives us a more granular view. We can compare 5 at a time, interesting. And then I guess based on which ones we select, it will then update this average price, and we can base our evaluation on that as well. So this is really neat. What's also cool too is that you could see the map. You could do this map view instead if you don't like the Excel route. You could see how far away these properties are from one another and go from evaluating there. You could get straight into the photos right here of each of the properties, which is kind of similar to this Zillow view. And then if you want to just get more information on the house itself, you could look at the neighborhood as well. Look at trends within Brandon. So this tool itself is really powerful. I really hope that they keep this owner's view always free for anyone, for any off-market property. So let's hope that that happens. I think that the best course going forward is to probably use the Realtor, because as we saw before, this property was just, I mean, way over evaluated. A property just sold on the same street for less money and had better finishes than this one. So don't always use these algorithmic estimates as your sole way to determine what the property is worth. So in the next video, we're likely going to use an actual API to get this information versus manually clicking through sites, even though I think using both is useful. So please subscribe to this channel so you can get that latest content. Thanks so much.